Okay, let's have a look at the answers to these puzzles. First, let's tackle the easy one. It's white to play and mate in 1, and the white rook and white bishop both attack the black rook on d8, but sometimes we're scared of moving pieces next to the enemy king. What do we need to check before we touch the pieces? When we move a piece next to the enemy king, we need to check two things. First, is the piece defended? This will stop the enemy king taking it. Yes, it's defended. Second, are any other enemy pieces covering the square? No, none of the other black pieces is defending d8. The medium puzzle is white to play and mate in 3. Now when there aren't many pieces left, it can be a good idea to move the king out into the game, but it's silly to leave the other pieces at home. It's important to use your pieces as a team, and with most of the black army sleeping, white is about to win. But how? Well, one thing we can do is to look at all the squares the black king can't move to. It might help us work out how to chase the king. The f1 rook covers the f file, the bishop covers some more squares, and the pawns some more. So even though the black king is in the middle of the board, it doesn't have much freedom. The first move to investigate is to use the other rook to give check. Black would have to move the king to d5. Now what? Is it safe to chase the king with the rook? It would be defended by the d4 pawn, and none of the other black pieces can take it, so the black king would have to move, and c4 is the only possibility. How could white then finish the game? White's rook can keep chasing the king. Finally, the hard puzzle. Another mate in 3. Another king lost in the middle of the board, with most of the other pieces sat around doing nothing. Let's light up the squares the white king can't move to. One of the rooks covers most of the f-file, the pawns cover the 6th rank squares, and the bishops cover some more squares, so the white king is in big trouble. h5 is the only safe square. Can't we give checkmate with the rook? This rook check would cover h5. Why isn't this move checkmate? Because the rook blocks the bishop, so g4 and h3 would be safe. But the rook check might still be the right move. Think what happens after the white king moves to g4. There are lots of moves to choose from. Checkmate can be easier if we force the enemy king onto the edge of the board. So perhaps this pawn check next, forcing the white king onto h3. How are you doing, keeping track of where all the pieces are? There's another way to win from here. We'll look at it in a bit. So how does black finish the game? It's double check and mate, but perhaps you found the other way to win the game. The rook moves on to the e-file, forcing the white king onto the f-file, allowing black's other rook to give checkmate.